Enrico Fermi said the question is simple: where is everybody? If the universe is teeming with life, why haven't we seen any evidence yet? This single question challenges everything we think about life beyond Earth. And this question would later be known as Fermi's paradox. I mean, with all the space out there in space, with all the other planets out there in the universe, how is it that we haven't seen any clear signs of extraterrestrial life? I mean, come on, where are the aliens? And Carl Sagan said the universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, seems like an awful waste of space. Yet, despite our searches, we found no clear signs of life. Fermi's question remains: where is everybody? And a lot of people shrug off the existence of aliens. And even people that believe in aliens or believe that aliens have come here at some point or another, a lot of them are just skeptical that that will ever get disclosed to the public. I mean, the government doesn't really have the best track record with disclosing things as far as aliens go. And the public hasn't been the most receptive to people that believe that aliens exist. People that have stories of being abducted. And honestly, I feel like skepticism is a little bit valid there because you really do have to take the word of these people. We don't have that tangible piece of evidence that we could say, see? And if we do, well, people say it's locked up in some sort of government bunker and it's never going to be shown to the public. And there's been a lot of different sketchy things that you can point at, a lot of circumstantial evidence that you can, point at, but there's nothing cut and dry. There's no smoking gun that we can actually say, see, look at that. Aliens are real. And a lot of people, including myself, start to give up hope in a way because I believe aliens are real. I believe that they've definitely come to Earth. There's definitely been UAPs out there that we can't explain. So that being said, there has to be some sort of cover up. There has to be some sort of effort put in place to hide this from the public. Maybe we can't handle it. Maybe it would be too much of an existential crisis and they think that we would all panic and we would self-destruct before the aliens did anything to us. And maybe it really is all bullshit. Maybe there are no aliens. It doesn't really answer Fermi's paradox. Like I said, with all the space out there, why haven't we seen anything? Why wouldn't there be other life? And you hear of you hear of new discoveries like the fact that the universe isn't actually there unless somebody's looking at it. And it seems like what are you talking about? Like the moon itself. If we weren't looking at the moon, it would not be rendered. And they were able to actually prove this. And the people that proved it, they got a Nobel Prize and everything. So if we can't see these planets that are, solar systems away, well, are they even rendered? And that's only to assume that what is from our perspective, what we're looking at. Who's to say we're not the one that isn't being rendered? And I guess it's a looping idea that just kind of leaves you going like, And there are a few videos that have gone around recently and have brought aliens back into the mix of what people are talking about because Obama went on this podcast and he kind of said some vague answers that alluded to the fact that aliens actually might be real. And if anybody's going to know what the government is hiding, wouldn't it be the president? At least, the former president. So I pulled up this clip. I just kind of, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that read it that way. And I overreacted. And it's probably because I want aliens to be real. So I have to check myself with that. But I wasn't the only one that felt that way.
Are aliens real?
Uh, they're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
So aliens are real, but there's no underground facility. I don't know how you read that, but the certainty that he had that aliens are real. But then he kind of put a little caveat in there, but I didn't see anything while I was the president. If there is something going on with these underground facilities, well, then it had to have been something that they hid from me. Yes. He kind of said that like nonchalantly, like, come on, they hid it from the president of the United States. Who would do that? Who would hide things from the president of the United States? It's not like there's people that have been embedded into the government for longer than the 4 or 8 years that a president comes in for. It's not like there's people that are career politicians that will stay there long after presidents come and go. Why would they hide something from a temporary person that comes in? That's the head honcho, el jefe. They wouldn't do that to the president, right? Well, obviously this clip went viral. If you haven't seen that, it was something that made its rounds. And a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people said this is the smoking gun. You know, you can clip everything else out. I wanted to put everything that he said in there about it, so that you have full context. But you know, you could clip that first. Are aliens real? Yes, aliens are real. Okay, well, Obama just admitted it. Obama just said aliens are real. Holy shit, it's real. Shortly after the clip started going viral, Trump decided to make his own little clip.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know.
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
What was
He made
classified?
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to.
Well,
So if
maybe
you
I'll
want
get
to
him
make
out
an
of trouble.
announcement,
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals.
Okay. I don't know why they decided to make a comment about illegal aliens or whatever. We're gonna talk about the aliens. I always thought that was a weird name to give people that have come to countries illegally, that they're illegal aliens. I don't know. Can we just call aliens aliens? I don't know. We gotta, at a certain point, we have to stick to a label, right? Whatever. So Buddy said he gave out classified information. Classified? That shit was classified information. But then when the reporter asked Trump, well, do you believe in aliens? Oh, well, I don't have an opinion on the matter. A lot of people do. A lot of people think that they're real. I don't know, man. I don't know. That was weird. Why would you even say that? And maybe this is Trump trolling people like he likes to. Maybe he's just trolling Obama for saying that shit. He knew it went viral, and he knows that anything that he would say about the matter would also make its rounds as well. This is all political theater, so trying to keep that in mind. But he disclosed, you can't say that. What's wrong with the information that he said? If they're not real, how was it classified? Why would you have to declassify anything if everything he said was just an opinion? A lot of people do think they're real. A lot of people think that. And the way he was just sitting there looking, I don't know. Maybe, again, that's just me reading too much into it. People are reading into this. So maybe that's me wanting to be a believer, wanting to be the person that said, oh, man, look, here it is. It's the moment we've been waiting for. And I think it might just be, unfortunately, one of those beach balls that get tossed around just to stay in the circuit. And then also, you're talking about all of this alien shit right after the Epstein files come out. It feels like the timing is a little suspicious. It feels like this is a little bit on purpose. And shortly after the video started to go around, I'm not sure if this was before or after Trump made his little statement. Well, he shouldn't have done that. He said classified information. Maybe it was before, maybe it was after, I'm not sure. But shortly after the video went out, Obama ended up putting on social media, said, I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good that there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. Really. The really at the end had me feeling like, really? You put a little really at the end? That's okay. Like, I promise. I mean it. I'm probably reading too much into this, right? Too much into this. He came quick and like, oh, hold on. And I could see it being like one of those things where it's like, dude, I said straight up that I didn't see anything as a president, but aliens are real. Like, if you ask me, are aliens real? Aliens are real. It's kind of fucked up just because you were the president at one point that people automatically assume that this is actual proof. Because I could say that and then be like, oh, that's what you believe? That's your opinion. They wouldn't take that as, okay, this is obviously a fact now. You said the aliens are real? Well, they got to be real then. But because he was the president of the United States, we just automatically assume that this was him saying factual information, that his opinion can't just be his opinion. Even when the man backed up his opinion by saying, oh, but I didn't see anything. There was no like underground facility. I mean, unless they hid something for me, what more is he supposed to say? And then even then, after it goes out, he still puts out a post saying, okay, just to be clear, I was just trying to go with the whole video that we were doing. I didn't realize that everything I said was, we're gonna act like it was 100% certain. I can't even be certain about an opinion that I have, the way that all of you guys are certain about opinions that you have because of the position. Well, maybe it's just a trade-off. Maybe that is what it is. Like, you should have known that. As the former president going onto a podcast, you should have known answering a question like that, how people would take it. I don't know. It's hard to say, well, because these people said it. Why would Trump come back and say something like, well, this was classified? You really shouldn't have said it. Why would you say that unless there was actual classified information there? The only thing I could think of, again, is just the Epstein files. Like, oh, that's something. People hate the damn villains in the Epstein files, but one thing that people are hella interested in more than that, are aliens real? Have aliens been here the whole time? Hold on. We'll get back to the Epstein files, but aliens? Hold on. Aliens. So Trump might have just seen that as he's somebody that likes to capitalize on things, from what I've seen. So now for everyone's favorite part of any show, which of course are the advertisements. So let's take a moment for the sponsor of this episode. If the sun disappeared, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes, and then everything would go dark. In the meantime, this episode of Get Xuded is brought to you by You're Not Sorry by xoxuded, now streaming everywhere you listen to music. All right. I'm done saying I'm done, you're not sorry. You said last time was the last time you lied. Yeah, you lied again, of course you crossed the line again. How could I be so naive? You play me like a violin. Now I'm feeling stupid and just dumb enough to try again. You got me addicted, guess I'll OD one more time again. One more time again. You say you want us, you say you love me. You say that you was mad and you said words you didn't mean. Don't even apologize. I've seen this too many times before. You say you want us and you love me. You was just mad, you said words you didn't mean. Don't even apologize. I've seen this too many times before. Obama just happens to go onto a podcast and he happens to say this answer to, are aliens real? and Trump sees it. Might have been like brought to his attention by somebody like, oh, look. And then Trump, being Trump, it's like, okay, how can I use this to benefit me? How can I use this to direct attention where I want to? So seeing that, you could just go on to next time I get asked about it. I know I'm gonna get asked. He could probably orchestrate it where he gets asked that question. And then you say it's classified. Holy shit. That just made it even, the smoking gun is smoking even more now. Holy shit. He just said it's classified information. I might declassify it to get him out of trouble. I might do it. Because that's what Trump does, right? That's what these politicians do. They're all throwing each other under the bus. Don't think this is like me saying I'm anti-Trump. I'm anti all of these motherfuckers. You got to be a special motherfucker to even go into politics. And I hate to generalize like that, but yeah, just kind of my disclaimer that this is me saying this is what all of them would do. If there are classified files out there, why wouldn't you have like dropped these before? Why wouldn't you have made this public knowledge before all this? Why did it take Obama coming out? You're trying to tell me that because Obama on a podcast said classified information, that out of the kindness of your heart, you're gonna declassify all these files in order to make sure he doesn't get in trouble. Okay, yeah. That sounds believable. That's plausible. I think yeah, they knew that this was taken out of context, where it had been misconstrued, and they saw this as a moment. And I hate to say it because I wanna feel like this shit is real. And Trump ended up putting on, I think it was like True Social or some shit like that, but he put a post out and he said, based on the tremendous interest shown, I'll be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenons, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. He said, based on the tremendous interest shown, tell me he's not tell me he's not trolling everybody. Come on. Because this interest just came out of nowhere. We just now started caring about where the fucking aliens are at. Come on. You already was in office before. All of y'all motherfuckers that was in office, if there's like files out there, there's been interest. I can't help but feel like this is all, yeah, it's just all smoke and mirrors or whatever. It's just bullshit. And we saw how the Epstein files turned out, because that's what the man ran on, saying that he was gonna drain the swamp and release the Epstein files. And now you're saying you're gonna be releasing government files related to UAPs and UFOs. It's like, I've been burned before, bro. You hurt me once, man. Even if you release some bullshit, I think it's gonna be some bullshit. Be a fraction of some shit. Anything that's actually interesting is gonna be redacted or something. That's if there's even anything. You might just have like a fucking binder you flash, like, we got them. Don't worry, we're gonna comb through this. We done been burned before, bro. But now, since we've shown such tremendous interest, it took Obama going onto a podcast and people were saying like, oh, wait, there he said aliens are real. Some classified information. Now they're going to release the files because we're interested? Thank you, government. And Leslie Keene said, evidence has emerged over decades suggesting unidentified aerial phenomena exist. Governments rarely acknowledge it, but the persistent reports challenge us to reconsider what we think is possible. It has literally been decades. Literally since before, you can argue now that anybody that's Anybody that claims aliens, anybody that screams that, you can kind of argue that, well, how do I know that you're not just doing this for attention? Like, how do I know that you're not doing this to have some sort of story or something like that? People do some weird shit for attention, so how am I supposed to believe you? How do I know that you're not just trying to get your little 15 seconds of fame? But these these claims go back before you were a 15 seconds of fame overnight sensation like that. Like, wow, did you hear this breaking news story? And then, on to the next story. Before all of that existed, there was still claims out there about aliens. There was, if you go back to ancient times, there are different stories about aliens. And I don't know, just trying to push back. Yeah, but if you look at different ancient cultures and you see the different things, they also believe in a whole bunch of different gods. And, like, if you take into account everybody's different beliefs, they kind of contradict each other. So yes, because they all had aliens there, or there's like all of them have some sort of like depiction of a Bigfoot or something like that. Well, we should believe that's true, but all of them also had like these different gods they believed in. I don't know. So maybe you could say, arguably, well, they didn't all just say aliens. They had different names for them. So yeah, they have different gods, but they could have been talking about the same people. They just labeled them differently. They had no idea of knowing what, like we call a dog, but tell somebody that was just born, you can name this whatever. What is this? Here's a cat. This is a house. Here's a couch. You can name everything else. This right here, we don't have a name for it. What should it be? What are the chances that person says dog? It's not very high. So I don't know. You look at all of these things, and you can dismiss one, you can dismiss two, but when you're starting to dismiss dozens and hundreds, it's starting to feel like, okay, I'm dismissing this decade of claims because people are just trying to get attention. Okay, what about last decade? What about from the 1960s? What about how it keeps literally pushing back? Can you explain all of the different things that happen? Think about crop circles. And I'm not talking about how people try to recreate crop circles and you can literally tell that the corn stalks aren't the same. They've been smushed down as opposed to being vaporized, where literally they cannot explain or recreate exactly how it is done. All of these things where it's like, hold on, this goes back before we got into the sky. How would anybody have done this? And then why would they do it knowing that nobody's up there to see it? There's all these different things that you can say. When crying alien back in the day was you losing your entire reputation. It wasn't a cool story. It wasn't something you can just get attention for. All attention is good attention. No, you could lose your entire reputation. You can lose your job. You could lose your friends. Whatever. All the respect that you've earned over years of being you, you could lose it by saying this happened. How many people didn't even come forward with their stories because of it being like that back then? And Stephen Hawking said intelligent life elsewhere may exist, but we must be cautious. Contacting them could be dangerous. The silence we observe may be a warning rather than an absence. So, Fermi's paradox, where are all the aliens? Maybe, according to Stephen Hawking, maybe this is a warning sign. We should just appreciate the fact that there's nothing out there that we can see. We should appreciate the fact that they are in incognito mode. Because if they let us see them, well, by then it's too late. I guess I don't necessarily see the correlation that Mr. Hawking has with there being silence observed with, okay, well, then we need to be cautious because these people could be dangerous. I don't see that. I don't see how just because we haven't seen anything we should automatically assume that they're going to be malevolent creatures that are out there. If there are aliens, well, we should be scared that they haven't made contact, because people that, or people, any society that is civilized, well, they're gonna make contact. They're gonna try and say something, right? So if they haven't, they have to be a force for bad. I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily agree, because think about think about how we historically have taken over different lands and territories and shit like that. You know, Christopher Columbus didn't just fucking sail around America. Motherfucker said, "Oh, I'm going in." There was no waiting around. And let's be real, if you were able to travel all the way to Earth from wherever the fuck you came from, why would you be waiting? The only reason I could see somebody trying to wait is if it's some sort of strategy where you have to figure out, okay, they might be able to exploit us here. We have a weakness against them here. Something where it's like we don't have the advantage against them. But if this is an alien race that came all the way to Earth from wherever they came from, and they're able to remain undetected like that, where all we have are blurry videos and images and, a couple hearsay stories of being abducted, that's all we have. Well, then this is a creature that is highly advanced. And I would imagine they would just come in and do whatever they needed to do, whether they needed resources from our planet, whether they needed something from us, they just wanted to take over. I don't know. Whatever violent prediction that somebody could have that aliens would come over here, like to just colonize the planet. I think there would be no waiting. I think it would just be a waste of time. We came all the way here to the damn Milky Way galaxy to what? To just chill, watch them. And if you think about anybody that watches other animals, other species, well, that's us. You have people that have like been put into different like chimp societies or whatever they're called, like, you know what I mean, like all these different ways where we will have these little cameras that are seeing how other animals coexist with each other. We sit there and watch. We hopefully it's a lot less than how it used to be. I'm not honestly sure, but we used to do all the types of experiments with animals. We used to put them in different cages and mazes and trying to just figure out what makes them tick. We did all these things where we observe other species. And yet we find it, what, weird that some other species would come and observe us and automatically assume just because we don't see anything that they're trying to observe us for the negative. I don't know. I think if anything, the silence would be more of an argument for a benevolent species rather than one that is just going to come here and do a whole bunch of violence onto people and the earth. Again, people, I have to use people just because we're the most intelligent species that I know of on our planet. But people wouldn't wait like that. You just take your advantage while you have it before you lose it, and you wouldn't just waste your time. I don't see any reason. And maybe that's even creepier though. Maybe the idea of just being watched, observed, being some sort of experiment without even realizing it. Maybe that's worse to some people. Just get it out the way. Just goddamn, just take over. Just take over. I don't know. Maybe they don't worry about us at all. Maybe they did observe a little bit just to kind of look, but for the most part, we're just those animals that feel like they're running the world. And I noticed that Trump said UAPs and UFOs, but the objects that have been found in the water, that's something that interests me as well. Who's to say that it's only in the air? Because we think aliens from space or whatever. Who's to say that the vast oceans that have still yet to be fully discovered, who's to say that there's not things going on there? There have already been accounts of these these objects that are able to go from air into the water and then literally move around, just like how, they've said to see UFOs able to move around, where you're almost impervious to gravity or the forces and the laws of physics that we have to follow. I think I think this is a lot bigger than just UFOs and UAPs. I think the idea of them being right here on this planet is it's not outlandish. I think if anything, it would be more strategic of them to set up base somewhere here. And that's why if you watch shows like Ancient Aliens or just in general like any investigation into aliens or UAP phenomena, it's places like Antarctica or the ocean that seem to be something that they're drawn to. And it feels like I'm almost talking about like something in La La Land because I want that tangible piece of evidence. I'm somebody who wants to believe, but because I want to believe, I need I need that extraordinary piece of evidence to prove an extraordinary claim. Aliens are real. I believe it. Statistically, it makes sense, but give me something. Give me something. Because so many people, you know what else I believe? So many people, they like to lie. They like to feel like they are the epicenter of truth. And you're the only way that you're able to get to factual information is by going through them. And when I'm already smelling bullshit, like this is right near the Epstein files, and you're coming in to save Obama, and that's why you're going to release these files, I don't know, man. It just sounds more or less like what we already have. Like we know, but we don't know. No, there's probably some shit that they've back engineered and they've had since fucking Roswell, whatever, and well, we're just never gonna see it. We're always just gonna get little pieces. And think about how these AI companies, you can, be on ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini or whatever the fuck. You're gonna be months behind what they actually have. If you're on Grok or ChatGPT 5 or whatever, they already got 6 working on in the background. They already are working on the next thing. So I think it's gonna be similar to that with this. That even if by some miracle something that isn't bullshit gets released, it's just gonna be like a little bit of something. So a little bit of something just to save face, probably. Y'all know I fucked up everything with the Epstein files, but here you go. I told you. And you can't prove that there's anything more because, well, there's no proof that anybody has. It's different with the Epstein files. You have victims and all these things that make it really hard for me to just cover this shit up. But with these, I can say, yeah, this is everything. It's like, are you sure? Because we found a spaceship. Like we can't say that shit. We can't say it. And Michio Kaku said the universe is so vast, with billions of stars and planets, that it's statistically improbable that we are alone. The question is not whether life exists, but why we haven't made contact yet. What if we have made contact? What if that is the conspiracy that is true? There's so many out there. And the reason why conspiracies exist is when there is an actual conspiracy most of the time. Yeah, you got the crazy ones where it's like, bro, that shit's not real. Fucking Loch Ness Monster or whatever. But you got the conspiracies that come out of there being some sort of mystery. And then everybody's going to try to fill in the blank with whatever story they feel like justifies all the different plot holes and the different pieces of evidence that they found. And you can see it like if you've ever watched a TV show where there's like a cop trying to solve a case or some shit like that, and they feel like they know what's going on, or even like a just somebody who feels like they think they know what's happening. It could be a girlfriend that thinks they know exactly why their husband isn't coming home. Like, you're cheating on me and I know it, but it's like really they're like dealing with some shit and they're being blackmailed and you have no idea the shit that I'm going through. Some shit like that. There's always that character that they think they know exactly what's going on. They think that they have that that mind that can just fill in all of the pieces. Fucking Sherlock Holmes in this bitch. And unfortunately, these people add up. And some of these stories, well, some of them got a little bit of legs to them where it's like, oh, well, that does kind of fit there. And those are the ones that stick. Those are the ones that actually make it to the zeitgeist, so to speak. You know, these theories that it's like, wow, like what if we are back engineered from aliens? And you know what I mean? Like this is one of those things where we have no reason to explain the fact that our brains just developed unlike any other species over a small course of time relative to how evolution normally works. How do you explain that? It has to be the aliens. It has to be the aliens. And again, you could be like, wow, I could see that. But it's just a theory. You know, there's a theory out there that, you know, the aliens have made contact and they just talk to the higher ups, the governments, the ones that run the world for real. And they have an understanding. That's why we get things like fiber optics and all these things that just come out of nowhere, seemingly. It's because, well, they're little gifts, little resources that are given to us by the alien overlords, and they have some sort of deal. Maybe they mine different resources from our planet, whatever. Like, oh, I could see that. I could see that, you know, because the government has been lying. There's obviously stuff out there, and why wouldn't they want to get to the bottom of this and blah 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 blah. You can go down these different rabbit holes, and the only reason these rabbit holes are popping up is because there's something hidden. And the truth was going to be the only thing that would actually get rid of these rabbit holes, these conspiracy theories, the actual truth. And it's too late for it, you know. It's too late for us to actually feel confident in the things that are told to us. Because now we could be told the truth and there'd still be a subset of people that's gonna be like, no, 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 no. I not impressed. I don't think so. I don't think so. It doesn't sound right. I'm supposed to believe you? I mean, shit, you get black pills so many different times, it's hard not to feel that way. Like I said, oh, you're gonna release the files, huh? To help Obama because you're a good person. Shut up. Just shut the fuck up. That's why, to help him, classified information. So didn't you kind of breach something by even saying it's classified? Wouldn't that be classified to even say that things are classified? Come on. Let's use our brains for a little bit. For a little bit. It's hard not to feel black pill. It's hard not to feel like this shit is not gonna happen. It's not what we actually think it's gonna be. It's just gonna be a little nothing burger. And we're gonna realize that it was just orchestrated by people that want to direct your attention. But it's something big that nobody has the right to cover up, I feel like. And I guess if it is one of those things where the aliens have been in contact with the people that truly run the world and it's their decision where, look, we don't want to be known to everybody. We know it's going to cause chaos, not just for you, but for us. So I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to disclose the fact that we exist. Maybe then I could see it. Because then it's like one of those, okay, it's not your information to hide if it's just because you want to hide it and you want to be the gatekeeper. But if it's your information to hide because you have that responsibility that's been put on you and these beings that are highly advanced and could end everything. Well, we're going to say the word request, but let's be real. They've requested that the knowledge of their existence remains to be unknown, remains to be just a conspiracy theory. And yeah, we might pluck a couple people, bring them up to the mothership. Who knows, man? Who knows? Ain't shit happened to me. But so many people say that these things happen. So many people have had these encounters. Like I said, you can dismiss one. You could dismiss a dozen, 100, hundreds. And not just like some kook that's trying to get a little bit of attention, but actual like certified people that are up in the air and they've seen other planes and they know what they normally see in the air. Even these people are claiming. Remember when I said that you could lose your entire reputation by claiming these type of things? You mean the people that have the most to lose, even they're saying shit? Wow. It's a lot of different coincidences to continuously just say, that's nothing. I probably won't actually be real. Let's be honest. It's just a kook. It's just a crazy person. It's just a conspiracy nut job. There's no way. Unless this really is all a simulation. And that's the only other explanation I could think of. That's why I think of the fact that things don't render unless we're actually looking at them. So when the whole does a tree fall if no one's there, it turns out it doesn't not only just make a sound, it doesn't fall at all. Like we'll just go there and it'll be rendered a fallen tree. It breaks my brain so much that it just doesn't make sense to me. And these people were able to prove the fact that this is how our reality actually works. So unless that proves that we're in a simulation, and the whole answer to Fermi's paradox is the fact that, well, there's no aliens because, bro, this is it. The whole vastness of space and you looking out and seeing the universe as a never-ending thing, well, that's just an illusion. That's just the way that you've been programmed to look at this. You're a simulation. Maybe then, of course, aliens won't exist. Like, why run these different programs so far away unless you're going to have them collide with each other? But if we're not in a simulation, and there really are all these planets that are in the Goldilocks zone, which means they're not too close to the sun where they burn the fuck up, and they're not too far away where they freeze. They've found so many planets through the telescopes that we have now, which this is the worst that they'll ever be. The telescopes that we have now, they're only going to continue to get better. But now we have been able to find all these different planets that are in the Goldilocks zone that could inhabit some life. Theoretically. Obviously, we're not there. But based on the things that our planet needs, the position that it needed to be in our solar system to actually create life, we use those same principles to say, well, there's a good chance that out of all these different planets in the Goldilocks zone, how can we say with certainty that there's not aliens out there? That there are not other species of intelligent life? You would almost be foolish to say that. You'd almost be foolish to think that we are at the center of everything. And again, the only caveat with that is we might be at the center of everything if we're just a simulation. You don't play a video game just to go and play another video game on the other side of your house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like maybe then. Either way, answers isn't too crazy of a thing to ask for, right? Just be straight up. If there is knowledge out there, if there is some sort of truth behind this, why would you just not disclose it? Whatever. Obama, that's why you're doing it? Okay. Just so, he doesn't get in trouble for leaking classified information? Okay. Just leak that shit. Because I think I can speak for everybody when I ask, Where are the fucking aliens?